Hey, welcome back, boys and girls. So, last time I did a Torn video was about 2 months ago, probably a little bit more. And yeah, it was pretty good. Had a lot of prospect back then. So this is again another Torn video. We'll get into some games. I will talk a fair bit because being that this is still a pre-alpha game, so this is in very early stages of development. It has taken a couple of months to get this far, but obviously a lot goes into it before it becomes even to the point of being in beta testing. But yeah, I won't ramble on too much, but I will talk a bit. You will see there's been another faction added, so this game has 3 factions now: the Bastions, Hermits, and Imperials. Whether those names stay that way, whether this game finally makes it to a live server or not, that's yet to be decided. Many things can probably change from where this game is at this point to where it ends up on a live server situation. But definitely some improvements to the game since the last time I played. So some of the improvements you will notice is that if you go back to the previous video, the graphics here are even more crisp. They're more defined than what they were 2 to 2.5 months ago. There's been a few other additions as well, like so that big shield in the middle there is from one of the Bastion's mechs, so or machines, I should say, because it's not technically a mech. It looks like a tank, and it is a tank. It's classed as a tank. It actually has quite a lot of hit points now. Speed seems to have been increased a little bit, so this robot actually moves around a fair bit. This thing goes into stealth, and then it has a main weapon thing that it does fire, although it does not do damage at this point. The developer did say that it will do damage at some point, but again, all of this is still in early stages of development, so don't judge it too harshly. It is quite good as an early stage developmental game. There's our tank, and you can see it doesn't really take a lot of damage when you're even right up in its face, and I'm dead. I will say that I don't have a lot of experience playing this game either, because I do struggle to get on the test sessions, although they have added another test session time. And what I mean by that is because this is still in early stages of development, there's not any type of server where you can just get on and play. So it's not even like a beta testing server where you can still get on and just play. It is literally, you have to be on their Discord. They set the session times. They run for about an hour to 2 hours tops, and then you join the rooms, and then you get opponents like the guys I'm playing against here. Mind you, this is the first time I've actually entered a game like this at early stages of testing, so I'm not experienced with it. It's new, it's brand new territory for me, so I'm just having my fun with it. I'll do the odd video here and there with this and just follow the progress of this game, but I do really like where this game is heading. So yeah. I will shut up for a little bit. Maybe you can listen to some of my background music, and I have turned it down this time so that you can actually hear me talk instead of just hearing my background music pump your ears to pieces. So yeah. I'll jump back on in a minute and chat. So enjoy the gameplay, guys. Okay, so one thing you will have noticed there, I'm doing a fair bit of corner shooting, and it's something they'll add later, but you cannot select individual weapons to fire at this point. The developer Berserk, who does actually join the matches and play the game that they are developing, he did say that they will be at some point adding that feature. So another feature that they really could add to this is just a locking target. You'll see it later on in the game, where in this video I should say, where I'll be firing a target and it keeps switching. It's quite common with a lot of these type of games where the targeting sort of picks up something you don't want. I'm still having that issue with Mech Arena, but believe it or not, and I do remember having that issue a lot with War Robots. So yeah. Again, like I can't stress it enough. This is early development, so please judge it as an early stage development of game. This is not an end product at this point. So yeah. And look, I'm dead again. We are still leading though, so that's not a bad thing. I'm not really doing all the work though. I think the other boys on my team are doing the hard work. You will see that there are 4 blues and 3 reds. That's what the little squares are up top. One of those blue squares is actually the developer who I mentioned before, Berserk. So if he's in your team, he's been doing just being a cameraman, so he's not firing at people. That's him there. That's Berserk. So yeah, he does join in, and today not today, but this match he's playing cameraman and just recording for his own purposes, I would imagine, or he's live streaming, whatever it is. Quite a cool guy to deal with. It is quite refreshing to see that the developers actually have a member joining in on gameplay, so they understand, because you do kind of get that feeling from other games where that doesn't tend to happen. The developers tend to not really understand what their game is doing. So from what I do understand too, he's also ex BOT, Battle of Titans development team, so I would expect this game to feel a little bit more like Battle of Titans than a lot of other mech games. So there will be a little bit more skill to piloting mechs than just pushing the thumbstick around, and they'll feel a little bit more realistic than, say, Mech Arena, where they dance around and you can change directions at the press of a button, you know, just by pushing the thumbstick left or right. These will feel a lot more cumbersome and a lot more, yeah, like I said, a lot more realistic. So yeah. Anyway, like I said, Berserk's a pretty cool guy. So if you get on the server, he jokes around a bit, and we were joking around a lot on comms in Discord while playing this. So yeah, he does seem pretty cool. And yeah, this is a cool little mech too. So I will call this a mech because it sort of does look like it has arms, but it's got wheels. Kind of looks like a lunar rover. But that shield is quite interesting. So I've not used it before, this particular robot. The shield, initially when I used it, I thought, oh, this is sweet, I can put this up and fire through it. It's not really like that. It cuts both ways. So if you put that shield up in front of yourself, you can't shoot through it. Like that. So it just shoots the shield. So yeah, another thing that you can really use as a different tactic, and you would have seen it before where I trapped the player off with it. It couldn't escape from where I was shooting. He was busy shooting someone else. That was Ammon, by the way. And I was able to shoot him. You can corner shoot around it. So this is going to be somewhere where selecting those individual weapons, which they will be bringing in later, will be useful. You can drop that shield and fire the 2 right weapons around the corner, or the left weapon around the corner of the shield, and just take a bit of cover. The corner shooting thing, so the individual weapon selection, I feel is kind of going to need to be a must-have part of what the development team do here. So it is a common part of any of these types of games. War Robots, Mech Arena, even back to old like mech battle type gameplay. There's always been a point where you can select individual weapons to fire. So yeah, I know they are adding this at some point. I hope it adds soon. But yeah, again, sort of definitely coming along well, this game. Okay, first match down. So they are quite long matches, but not really out of the ordinary for this particular genre of gameplay, because the game matches are actually the same length as War Robots, whereas something like Mech Arena is probably like 1.5 times longer than a Mech Arena game. So it just depends on what you actually enjoy doing there. You see, I didn't really do a lot. I did a bit of damage, but didn't really kill much. The scoreboard's kind of probably a little bit hard to understand unless you really in the community for a bit. So we're going to do our next game. This is our Hermits now. Now, I enjoyed these last time, and there's another thing to point out with this. So last time when I played this is our little Leaper bot, and I don't know what it's going to be called. Nothing's really got a dead set name yet, but beforehand when I played this, it just kind of sort of, it didn't have that swagger, didn't rock as it walked along. So we've added a few more animations there with the movement with this little bot. Kind of looks cool, actually. Gives it that whole biomechanical feel about it. And then this is another thing to point out. So in the last video, 2 to 2.5 months ago, this is the boss part of the map. So this is, you shoot this thing and you get an extra 200 points towards your beacon score. It didn't fire back at you back then. Now it has 2 different weapon types that fires at you. The big green shots, and then the little like Slimer goo type stuff that it throws out as well. So as you can see, so it's not just a matter of sit there and shoot this now. If you're going to take this on, you actually get hurt. But we did take that on, and I think I took the kill. Probably need a little bit of a notification to tell you who actually took the boss kill. But yeah, died. So we'll respawn again. This is different to other games at this point, so you've actually got to pick your spawn point first and then pick your bot, because if you pick your bot first, whatever the yellow square is where you go. So swapping from other games to this one, it takes a little bit of time to get used to that. So I dropped on a few beacons that I didn't know. Would be useful to have a map to show you exactly where those beacons are so you can strategize. Again, that may come later, but yeah. So this thing is actually quite slow, but I think that's quite that's deliberately set for this. As you can see, that little leaper moved around quite quickly, and I will compare that to the last video I made, because that little leaper was a bit slower 2 months ago. It was actually a little bit quicker, and the leap was a bit more useful, or the dash, whatever you wish to call that. This thing's more like I think they class this as a brawler. It does do a lot of damage, so like the weapons on this are actually pretty good. And there is an ability here which you will see. I'm sure it's this mech. Yes, it is this mech. So it launches a set of rockets. Those rockets, when they hit the target, actually give you health back. Obviously I can't show that at this point, but you will see that later on. So we will drop in. There is a problem that comes with this game, so I don't think this is the game end. I think this was my end. My feed dropped out, so that means I have to reload again. So I have to go back into this screen. This is the screen that you will see when you play this game with these guys. So they invite you to join this through test flight. So it's a test app. You get the app, the individual app yourself, and then you have to join their server rooms. So now I'll have to retype in my name. Because I'm already in that match, I have to pick a different name. So one count left, one count different. So I've gone Vortex 83. And then basically this is the date and the number on the test. So 29th of the 4th, and it is the 4th test of the day. You'll see the 3 factions there. Then you've got Hermit Mixed or Hermit Mono. Mixed is a little bit more exciting because it gives you a variant of weapons, whereas Mono, the mechs have the same weapons for each type. So Berserk did say that the plan is to have, with the factions, you can't mix, say, Bastion faction weapons and put them on Hermit. If you choose Hermit, it'll stay with Hermit weapons, Hermit mechs. I don't know whether they're planning that you can change factions mid-game or whatever. Don't quote me on any of that. It would be kind of cool, but a little bit restricting if, for instance, you pick Hermits, but then you can't purchase Bastion mechs and you can't purchase Bastion weapons, or whether you can have separate hangers, so like a Bastion hanger, a a Hermit hanger, and then an Imperials hanger. So that would be kind of cool, but if you pick Imperials for the match, you only use Imperial mechs, you can't use the others. That's kind of maybe where they're leaning towards with that. That would be where I would go, but again, I'm not a developer. So back into the game. These are our beacons. So currently this is a red beacon. You'll see there's a counter where it says beacon A, the number. Did I point this out? I think I might point it out in the next one. I'll put an arrow on the next one when I come across it. But currently that's really the only way to tell whether it's an enemy beacon or your beacon, unless you look at the mini-map to see whether it's turned blue or red. Or you can look up just above your game clock there, and it's got A, B, C's in blue and D and E's in red. Hey guys, so I was going to point out with an arrow here, so that was our little pointer there, that was our little counter there to tell you that you're converting a beacon. So it is probably the most obvious way to tell, other than seeing it up on the mini-map and seeing that it turns blue, or one of your little letters up underneath your timer turns blue. So this mech seems to run a set of shotguns. I don't really know what weapons are, because like I said, I don't get a lot of time to join test sessions, so unless you actually talk to the developers all the time and and talk with other players, you don't really know what's what. But they do look like a set of energy shotguns. So yeah, I did drop off the red team, as we know, but also this player did as well. So he's another player running a bit lower end gear, I think. So it does kind of bring up one concern that maybe they need to give a lower end graphics option for this game, so that people running lower end gear can play. Would kind of limit their player base if they don't do something like that, because then players that pick up a cheaper device probably won't get the opportunity to play this game. Not much else I can say on it, really. It is a fun game though, so yeah, battle's over. You will see that I'm on both sides of the scoreboard, because I dropped out, and then when I re-entered on the opposing team. So I featured on both teams in this game. But anyway, that's all done and dusted. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. A lot of good prospects for this game. The bloke that represents the developers is very cool to deal with. And if you've survived this long, like and subscribe, and I will catch you next time. Enjoy your games, boys and girls.